A pleasant day, everyone. I am teacher Kim S. Sugilon, and I will educate you in the course of Media and Information Literacy. It is without a doubt that we are now living in a media-saturated society. We must ask ourselves, are we literate enough for this enormous number of information that we receive from media? That is why the course of Media and Information Literacy aims to help you to demonstrate and have a better and deeper understanding about media and information and on how to become an information literate individual. Every society here in the world is full of information, mostly coming from media sources like television, radio, newspaper, and internet. The public has gained access to more information and easier method of communication. In this case, how will you ensure your protection from too much information? How will you meet the challenges of exposure to media content? Media and information literacy will focus on how to analyze and evaluate the legal and ethical issues concerning media and information usage and other relevant aspects that contribute to the development of media and information literate individual society. Here are the concepts that related to media and information literacy. We have here communication, media and information, the evolution of media, the information literacy, types of media, media and information source, media and information languages, the legal, ethical, and societal issues in media and information, the power of media and information, trends in media and information, and the media and information literate Filipinos. Each concept, we will make sure that we will enlighten and elaborate, but as of now, we will focus on communication, media, and information, the channel of communication to be exact. The aim of today's lesson is the student should be able to explain how communication and information is being processed and received, describe how communication is affected by media, and evaluate how highly exposed the people to media. When we say channel of communication, we are referring to the sewer which the information flows, an instrument or a tool to make the information flows easily. While the communication, it is a common word but plays a pivotal role, an important role in human development. Human races always communicated with one another even before that the traditional media were developed. Through what? Through symbols. Our ancestors used symbols which serves as means of communicating. Written records showed human language has been existent around 5,000 years ago. If today we used to write on our notebook or just type it on our phone, early human race used writing to record their thoughts on surface such as clay, parchment, and stone. These records were preserved and enabled other generation of human species to read them. As people continued to search for innovation to make their lives easier, to make our lives easier to be exact, different technologies were developed, including those used in communication, such as media. But what is exactly the media? How it can affect the human behavior? What are the influence? Media is derived from the Latin word medius, which means middle. Media refers to the tool or an instrument that people use to deliver or to transfer the message from the sender to receiver. In communication process, media plays an important role. The sender in communication process is the source of the message. The sender may use a channel or medium, media in plural, to send the message to receiver. Now, the receiver plays an important role also because they are interpreting the information that they receive from the sender. We should always remember that in communication process, media plays an important role when it comes in distributing or producing and receiving information. Now, media is commonly associated with television, radio, and newspaper, as well as internet. But people mostly use phone, letters, and books. If there's a media, what about the mass media? It is a type of media used to reach a large audience. Not just one, but many people. Just like newspaper. When we read newspaper, when you read newspaper, you are not the only one who received the information, but many of us did. Just like the television and the internet. When the internet works not in just one community, but all over the world. Media exposure can often lead to several changes on how the people interact with their society or how the people behave. For example, a person watch a sad opera and it can bring tears. He or she is being emotional. A horror movie that can cause someone to have or to develop phobia to the situation or a thing that the movie portrays as terrifying, or a child watching a violent movies that influence him to act as the same. Which of these overload should you accept, should you believe in, and which should be disregarded? Media is a powerful source of information. People tend to become attracted to whatever they want to hear, listen, or watch, that they keep wanting for more from media sources. Processing this information, we have two choices. It's either passively accept all the information or actively process all the information from media sources and filter what are useful and disregard, neglect what are not. Being an information literate individual, we must choose the option number 2. We have to be responsible in consuming information and in producing information. We have to be responsible in using media, a consumer. Process all the information, use what are useful, what are important, and neglect, dispose those not. Let us now do our first exercise. Well, that was based on our discussion earlier. Conduct an interview with your peer or any people that you know. Recall the activities that they had yesterday. Estimate the number of hours and minutes they have spent in using media, example, watching television, reading magazine, or even texting and others. After doing the interview, answer the following questions. How do you think the media impact the way you spend your everyday life? Critique how important the media in communicating with one another. Let us evaluate your knowledge about channel of communication, processing of information. Kindly answer the following question. Write it on one whole sheet of paper. Number 1, enumerate the elements of communication. State each roles and relationship with each other. Number 2, in communication process, detect which element is the encoder and which is the decoder. Justify your answer. Number 3, give the possible effect of an everyday exposure to media, how it influences an individual in many aspects. For another activity, give your insight, your reflections about the proliferation of media users. How do people deal with its perks and disadvantages? Kindly write it on one whole sheet of cotton bud.